Good evening and salutations, my YNR fans. It's been a hot minute. I'm still trying to process what I just saw. I'm still new to The Young and the Restless. But I feel like in some ways this might have actually been the worst episode I've ever seen. This week, soap operas are concerned. There has so far been three terrible episodes. Like the worst of the worst episodes. Monday's episode of General Hospital, yesterday's episode of B&B, and today's episode of Y&R. How this show is number one, it is beyond me. Summer is a pretty irritating character. On the regular, I feel like the writing for her, it's so awful. She has dialogue that women of her age don't generally tend to use. And I know that this show is geared towards a certain audience, but even for a soap opera, there's just things that just don't really add up. When this woman came downstairs, this thing came downstairs and started coming after Diane, I gotta sit there and say this was a pretty acidifying scene that made zero sense. Because at the end of the day, Diane didn't do a damn thing to Phyllis since she's gotten back. One second. She hasn't done anything to her since she's gotten back. But she comes downstairs and she's like, "You took over my mother's life." I'm like, what? How old is this girl? Okay, because I know she's old. I know she's legal drinking age. But she came at her like a 12-year-old child. You took my mother's life? You stole everything from my mother. You got this, you got that. I'm like, this is the stupidest scene. I almost actually sat there and the way I watched it, I was like, wow. At one point I thought that Joss was a really terrible and annoying character, but sweetheart, you are almost like you're in a context with this woman. And when I say Joss, I mean Joss from General Hospital. Um, Kyle, the beta male that he is, stands there, watches your POF of a wife, a POS of a wife, just hurl insults and accusations at your mother, and he stands there and does nothing. Oh, honey, I think you need to go back upstairs. I think this man needs to lose his, I don't know, mail card or something. I literally sat there was like, bro, listen, I'm not gonna sit there and try to pretend I'm some sort of alpha beta or whatever, but how do you just stand there and let this woman berate your mother and you just stand there like, honey, I think we should just go upstairs. I think you just need to just lay down. That's the best you got? That's it? That's it? That's the best you're able to sit there and muster up? Honey, I think it. No wonder why Jeremy looks at him like a joke. I looked at him like a joke for a very long time, and it's amazing. Okay? It's amazing because I didn't have that much respect for him to begin with. And somehow This man made me. It's like I'm in a negative with him, or he's in a negative with me. I actually lose more respect than the short amount of respect I actually already have for him. I feel stupid even calling him a man at this point. So after she continues to throw her little temper tantrum, after a while I was like, listen, I can't sit there and listen to her cry and whine, and so I just had to fast forward past it because I was like, girl, you are no, you you pretty much got on my last damn nerve at that point. I was a little worried too. I was a little worried because like when I sit there and say she got on my nerves, I mean, she really got on my nerves. Like, I felt like, in some ways, I felt like I was going to make the same video that I did for my General Hospital review on Monday. That's the type of mood that she was getting me in. So I very was just like, I don't know if this is a good idea. But, so that happens. And then Diane starts asking Jack, do you think that that has anything to do with Diane's death? I mean, Summer or Phyllis' death? I'm like, do you think that you had did you really just ask him if you had anything to do with her death? We're just gonna sit there and pretend that this chick was live and yelling and kicking and screaming and yelling and everything like that at the party before she collapsed. So why are you asking him such a stupid question? I really sat there was like, this was number one. I don't know who decides how these ranks work, but he reassured her, and yeah. Hold on. It's like kids trying to play grown-ups when it comes to Summer and Kyle. Um, so what else you had? Elena and Nate didn't really do anything. They were just there talking about they're gonna find answers for Phyllis' death, and I'm just like, oh yay! I can't wait for y'all two to get right on that. And then he left, and she looked at her phone because she's gonna sit there and get JT Helmstrom or whatever the hell his name is to come because she gotta sit there and fight for Nate. You know, I mean, in her head, this makes sense. So sure, whatever. Um, Another bit of a waste of a scene was Billy and Chelsea. He's sitting there being all sad and somber, and Chelsea's like, "What's going on?" And so after about 15 some minutes, he's like, "I just found out that Phyllis is dead. We don't bother to sit there and just check bodies anymore. We just go on hearsay at this point now." That's awesome. That's really lazy writing, but sure. So what he does is pretty much just be mopey for the rest of the scene, and Chelsea's like, "You can come upstairs. You can sleep on my couch," and then that's what they do, and that pretty much kind of ends their scene. What else you got next? Oh, Ashley was there for a little bit because I don't know. Eileen wanted another paycheck or something. Let's be honest. She came downstairs and she seemed like she was gonna sit there and start something. I was like, bro, listen, if you're gonna bring that energy, take your dumb ass upstairs, okay? Because that's the last thing anyone needs. But luckily she didn't. So she just stood there with her arms folded and getting cow advice as though anyone actually cares about those two. And then she went upstairs and went to stay there for the rest of the episode. So kind of a blessing and a curse in some ways. What else we got? Danny is trying to calm down Daniel, and Daniel's, is blaming himself. Oh, I shouldn't have been so mean to her. I shouldn't have been this to her. I shouldn't have been that to her. Woe is me. I'm like, bro, listen, your mother was a is a pain in the ass. Okay, she is overbearing. She is over the top. She is immature. She is all those things that I'm sitting there, trying to say as far as being immature. She would drive anyone's buttons. Okay. He wasn't being too hard on her. He was treating her like an adult. And Phyllis was treating both of them like like she was in middle school or something. I want you to leave me alone. Phyllis is the type of woman who will sit there and tell you to be honest with them. But if you're actually honest with them, then they practically want you to lie to them. That's the type of person that Phyllis is. So when I had, yesterday and I think the day before, and people was there talking about Phyllis, like she was this great word. Oh, she's so indestructible. She fights for this and she does this. I'm just like, yeah, that's serious. I mean, I get it's different people's perspective and stuff like that, but I'm like, the only thing I see this woman is a woman is like 6'2" and is an annoying pain in the ass. That's the only thing that I see from that woman. So Daniel's woe is me is like, nah, bro, you treated this woman like she was an adult. She acted like a child. She was a pain in the ass. You gave her a job after she sold her hotel to work for her children, like in like a moron. And you fired her, and Summer fired her, and Phyllis actually had the audacity to sit there and say when Summer fired her, well, technically I did all this stuff, when I wasn't working. So it really shouldn't count. This is the type of woman that they have to deal with. So this whole woe is me, this whole well now I'm finally speaking the truth. I was like, Summer, you're a headache. Go upstairs. Like seriously, just go. Um, so it was very appropriate. Now, Danny, who had some ill choice words to sit there and say about Lily, decides to call Lily. Okay, Danny, when are you leaving again? When are your last day? I need to sit there and look that up because yeah, I ain't feeling you, bro. I'm not really feeling you. And then Lily came over there and talked about her grief, and I don't know, made him feel better, and then jumped in the bed with him to comfort him. And that was pretty much the end. I can't. Oh, and also Phyllis. Somebody walks in, and Phyllis is like, "What took you so long?" Phyllis, you are literally making your children feel like absolute garbage right now for treating you like a grown adult. And this is how you think them. But I'm pretty sure when she comes back, they're gonna sit there and welcome her with open arms. Everything's gonna be all forgiven. I don't know. Maybe they'll sit there and probably try to cut her some slack, as much slack as they can. Because, after all, Phyllis is the type of person that's like, you gotta meet her more than halfway. Some people you have to meet them halfway. No, Phyllis, you gotta sit there and go like the extra third or fourth mile to meet that woman where she's at. I can't really think of anything else that happened. This episode, a lot of it talked about Phyllis, and I'm just like, this is so dumb. This is so stupid. This Phyllis plotting to get back to Diane, I ain't feeling. And, I know a lot of people are just like, oh, I can't wait for Phyllis to get back at the evil Diane since she's gotten back to town. Some people have actually said, this is the thing, some people have actually said, well, Diane was sitting there gaslighting Phyllis. Phyllis is a grown ass 60-year-old woman. What is she, 12? I don't, even when I sit there and I read some of the comments, not even my comments, but just I go on Instagram and YouTube and stuff like that, and I'm watching certain episodes, and people's like, "Oh, well, that Diane is gaslighting Phyllis," and I just I feel like I roll my eyes into the back of my head to the point where it's like they're gonna get stuck one day. They're gonna genuinely get stuck, and I'm gonna be screwed because the complaints that people have had against Diane since she's gotten back has just been so utterly stupid and ass dying. I don't even understand where to begin. I get that Diane has done some really terrible things back in the day. Phyllis has done some really terrible things back in the day. But people are sitting there saying, well, I don't like Diane because why? Because ever since she's got back, she's lied. Oh, she's lied? She's lied? Oh my gosh, she's lied. Well, I can totally understand why you don't like her because she's lied. Really? That's the best you can do? Like, I'm gonna be honest. The reasons why people don't like Diane now, whenever I sit there and ask the question, what do you not like about Diane now? I can respect everyone's opinion, and I can agree to disagree. But sometimes I do gotta sit there and look at some of the things that people write and people say to me, and I'm just like, what? Huh? Are you are you serious? It's mind-boggling to sit there and say the least. I miss doing these videos on Y&R. I wish I could sit there and do them on Tuesdays, but Tuesdays is what I like to sit there and call Hell Day. Um, but I feel like since has been utter garbage lately, well, this week in particular because of the Nurses Ball, I feel like I may try to find some more time to watch Y&R because, I mean, listen, I enjoy doing my reviews on all of them. I one day want to sit there and just do just that. Um, I know that I'm gonna have a whole lot more fun talking about Y&R than whatever stuff that's going on GH with the nurses ball because anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Stay safe, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video.